Alright, this has got to be the 20th freaking attempt I've made to put a video response together. I've never done a video response before. I've always kind of commented on channels and that's it. But I watched a video from GeneralSLee, subscribed to his channel. I love the guy. I love the topics that he's got on the channel. Very thought-provoking. And it's the type of channel that isn't the same thing everybody else is talking about in our prepper community over and over again. So looking at his video today, GeneralSLee shared the results of his range day, and the groups that GeneralSLee you were shooting were off to the right a little bit. And I wanted to share this with you in the hopes that it'll be meaningful information. If it's something that you've heard before, it will reinforce it. If it isn't, I'm glad that I could share it with you. I have never made a video response before, and you actually motivated me to put this video together based on your videos, and I am thankful and very appreciative of the topics that you have. So hopefully this will be a positive contribution, and it'll be worthwhile and meaningful for you. So as I watched the video and noticed that the rounds were impacting to the right dead center of the bullseye, and there were two, one at the top and bottom, and they were kind of towards the top but more so to the right. The first thing that jumped in my mind was your trigger pull and finger placement. And you know, when I was in the Marine Corps as a primary marksman instructor, this is one of the things that we always focused on, and that was trigger pull. So, General, what I would recommend is, if you are conscious of this, the next time you go out there, make sure that the trigger is falling, you know, in the center of your index finger tip. So it'll be between the first joint and the tip of your index finger, right here. So right where that little round part is on your fingerprint. That's the first part. Second part is, when you're actually pulling the trigger, I want to make sure that you're squeezing the trigger rearward in an even motion. But what tends to happen is, you know, we're excited out there and we want to get this lead down range. We tend to jerk the trigger, right? And as we're jerking the trigger, if you can imagine with the rifle, my rifle's safe, but you know, just for the trolls out there, I'll check it. Visually, physically inspect the chamber, nothing in there. Weapon off safe. So generally what I do is I take the buttstock and I plug it between my shoulder blade, right here. Hopefully you can see that. What I do is I pull back on my pistol grip, and I'm pulling back into my shoulder, and as I do, I twist it down, and what that does for me is it makes me feel as though I've locked it into my shoulder. You want to make sure you're pulling back, all right? So as I'm looking at the target through my sights, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger on the trigger, and again, that's where my trigger finger is, and the placement of it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about BRASS F. BRASS F is an acronym that we learned in the Marine Corps. It stands for breathe, relax, aim, stop, squeeze, fire. So second part is your breath control, right? So you're locked in, you take a deep breath in, and you exhale. That's B. From there you have a natural 2-second pause, natural, before you want to inhale again, right? So breathe, relax, aim, stop, squeeze, and it fires. And then you repeat the process over again. Those are the things that came to mind as I looked at the results of your target. I felt as though, you know, standing, totally get it. That's the hardest position to shoot in, I think, aside from upside down, but I'm not a super ninja, so I don't do that shit. One thing I did want to explain though, GeneralSLee, is, and hopefully you can see this, when you're standing, I'm going to exaggerate here, you'll have a natural sway and it makes like a side 8, right? What you want to do is let that happen and eventually tighten it up, and as soon as you're over the target, you squeeze. So a lot of things to think about as you're going through it, but those are the things that come to mind. And seeing that you're consistent in that area makes me feel as though it's either your trigger pull or your breath control that's having you shoot off to the right. Seeing that group that you showed on the video with the first group while you were standing, I think that's fantastic. For standing, that's great. They're all in the same spot. We just need to make sure that when you're actually squeezing the trigger, that it's an even rearward pull and it's not being jerked. Now it could be that the triggers are new, they need to break in. Doubt it, but possibility. The second thing is on your breath control. And the combination of those two things, breath control being off and your trigger pull not being the way it should be, could be leading to those groups on to the right. Now I know that you've taken notes. I think that's fantastic, because what you want to do is repeat the same thing over and over again. But you want to repeat the correct things over and over again. So while you're doing that, the next time you're at the range, get that rifle tight into your shoulder. Remember brass F. And when you're ready to squeeze that trigger, make sure it's an even squeeze to the rear. And let's get those groups tightened up and into the center. I didn't see again whether you're shooting at the top or the bottom. Irrespective of that, once we figure out where you are now and then move to, based on the feedback that I'm giving, there could be some other things that we identify that may be of value and help in getting that group over on target. The last thing I'd like to point out though is, we talk about shooting and marksmanship and thinking about the type of environment we're going to be in when those hits really need to count. You and I will not have time to be sitting there going, brass F, is it tucked in? We're going to be in that rifle, and we're going to be on both eyes open so that we have our peripheral vision open, and we're going to be on target. And those hits that you had would still be within the upper torso area. And I think that they'd send a message that you're intending to send. But for fun and bringing those groups in and then moving them where they need to be, some of the basic things that I wanted to share with you: trigger pull, the squeeze even full to the rear, and your breathing, so the brass F. General, again, it's always a pleasure to watch your videos. Very grateful for the topics that you post out. Hope that things work out well for you. If you're in California ever, certainly love to take you down to some BLM land and go out there and shoot some things up. But if that doesn't ever occur, I'll continue to put some of these videos together and share what knowledge I have with you. Thanks again. Keep your head on a swivel, and we'll talk to you later.